And hello, and I'm just checking that you're getting audio. Hopefully you're getting audio. Welcome back to Wargamer Online. It's been a while. We're looking at Cities of Sigmar tonight.
Yeah.
I think calling it a review is dangerous territory.
First look.
First look.
We've only had a look at it for a little bit.
I think first look / how can Luke break the code? How can Luke break the Battletome? Maybe.
Maybe. I need a little bit more time.
We'll see. So, for those of you who are just tuning in, we're going to be having a look at Cities of Sigmar. I've been away for a while. Apologies for that. And I also am going to say for tonight's show as well, my voice hasn't fully recovered. So I'm relying on my good two friends, Liam and Luke. And I believe if I duck to one side as well, Ralph is there. So you're normally seeing Ralph dialing in from the far reaches of France. But Ralph has been visiting me for a few days, and we've been up at Warhammer World today. Spent too many pennies, as you do, but that's good. But it was fantastic up there, and Ralph's first visit to Warhammer World, and had a look round the exhibitions and all the rest, and suitably impressed.
Absolutely splendid.
There you go, suitably impressed. Normally what we do is just dive straight into this, and that's the plan. If you've got any questions, I think that's the difference. There's a whole bunch of people who have done reviews already, haven't they? I'm a little bit late.
So we're not really going to go through scrolls as such, like word for word. We'll go through like each city and think what we think would be good in that city. So we'll go through the abilities now, read through all of them, and then we'll go through each city, and then we'll pick scrolls that we've already looked at. So what we think will work in them.
I mean, we're going to jump into this. This isn't the first time we've opened the book. We've had a good look through it. So we're going to jump into it. You've found some units you like the look of. You know, you're going to think we're going to be seeing these in maybe some of those in the tournament scene. You've been looking at some of the spells and saying, this is interesting stuff. So we are going to be picking some of the detail out. We're not just kind of flipping through the book and saying, hey ho, this is what it's about. But also what we're not going to do is a front to back, cover to cover look at the entire Battletome. I think, there's plenty of coverage out there already. So I think we should just get started. Other thing is, if you've got any questions, if you want us to pick on anything or have a closer look at anything, pop it in the chat. If you want to give Luke some grief, feel free to do so, because what did you just win? You're too. Look at him.
You want a fancy.
I
like the abuse. Give me as much abuse as you want.
So you're not going to talk about your recent tournament win then, no? No, you're too modest. We'll move on from that one. Just Google him. You'll Google salmon cannon. You'll no doubt find some of that. Okay, let's have a quick catch up with the chat before we dive into the book. So Achari is in there. Granaldi is in there. Sam Stocks is in there. Yo, Sam, get them models done. We've only got 2 weekends before the doubles tournament. And you need to get your army finished. So for those of you who want to catch up with Sam, he's going to be at the doubles tournament in Warhammer World, 12th and 13th.
12th and 13th, yeah.
Playing with you. Yeah. That's correct, isn't it? Liam's going to be there. I'm going to be there.
If he doesn't rage quit after you beat him several times.
James Bolsover's there. Liam Alford's there. Derpimus Maximus, Graham Rigg, John Dale, favourite city and why. There you go. There's the first question. Thomas Hooper and Liam Alford saying, living city, please. Well, there you go. Luke, I think we should jump into that. So, do we want to go straight into favourite city and why, or do you want to do a quick overview first? What suits you?
I think we'll go through these abilities now.
Okay, let's do that.
We'll go through the cities, and then maybe do that at the end.
All right, yeah, that's cool. So we're into the Legion's abilities. Fire away, Luke. Come on, tell us what you like.
So let's start from the beginning. So this is just the structure of how you can build the list. Basically, you got to go through and pick a city, and then obviously you go through all this kind of stuff. And the main thing that really pops out for me is the storm keeps. So you can have one Stormcast unit for every city's unit, so you could really go MSU and get as many of them Stormcast units in.
So the cities are very much like some of the sub-factions you see, say, Iden of Deepkin, which it's all about the strongholds and those kind of things, and you've got the different Fire Slayer, Fires or whatever they're called, aren't you? The houses, basically. You're choosing that, but this is the thing that pops out, this 1 in 4 units of any city is Stormcast. You're going to lose some abilities, aren't you?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
right?
So they'll gain the city's abilities. So I think you could take advantage of that. And
Yeah.
it just opens the book up even more, and the book's already wide enough as it is.
Okay, cool.
So
Excuse me, I'm going to cough every now and then, and Liam, you're going to have to take over if that starts happening. So, out of the cities itself, then, what has stuck out for you?
So if we just we'll go through the cities. Let's just say this is just how you build the list. So you've got to pick your city, and then you go through. The wizards can pick from the empowered
Of each realm.
of each realm.
Yeah.
And then when you choose a general of a city's army, if there's a general has wounds characteristics or 6 or less, you can pick one friendly unit to be your general's retinue, and this unit must have been between 5 and 20 models. If you pick this retinue, your general gains the following abilities.
Which is loyal shields. So you roll the dice before you allocate wounds. So you're just basically throwing your wounds off to a unit of between 5 and 20 models.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you really want to.
Nice.
But this is for low wound characters.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I mean,
So,
it's worth picking up on, isn't it? Because there's quite a few characters that would pump above the six wound mark, but there's also it's basically the characters on foot, more or less, isn't it?
All
Yeah.
your
That I think
dwarf
you're talking
heroes,
about.
all your empire generals on foot, and all your glade watchers and stuff.
True.
and,
True.
and when you get through to the points of the battle, you could probably get some big units.
And you
big
throw
units
you're
in there.
throwing the wound off on a 4-up, so for all intents and purposes, statistically, you're doubling the wound characteristics, aren't you? Because half of the wounds done to the character are going to get thrown off.
Yeah.
You
So,
know, 50% get thrown off, so you're almost, if you've got a 5-wound character, you've essentially just made it a 10-wound character, haven't you? You know, if you're throwing that damage off.
Which it needs the survivability in comparison to all these other later factions heroes, like
Yeah.
war chanters and war bosses. They need that survivability for what you need them. Because they're not as strong as all these other factions heroes.
True.
and it'll help you in if you're going for a competitive play, it'll help you in the scenarios where it requires heroes.
Yeah.
And if you want, you can make the little ones your generals. You don't necessarily
point.
have to rely on some
Big
the
beastie.
stacking abilities and stuff like that.
True. Okay, moving on.
So should we go through
The
the
consort
cities?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Alright, we'll go Hammerhall first.
So, of the cities, I mean, we've had a couple of questions come up, haven't we? The cities of the Living City, please, is one of them. Which one's the Living City, by the way?
next
Is that,
one.
is
That's
that
the
the
next
next
one.
one? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's have a quick look at Hammerhall. Let's not get too much into it. So, again, anything sticking out from Hammerhall for you?
Well, yeah,
It's a lot.
this one's probably one of the most powerful ones to pick from. There's
Right.
a few, but this one will.
I mean, Hammerhall's kind of the favoured city anyway. Are you saying that from a rules perspective, it's looking like a pretty strong faction?
Yeah. So you could really make use of demigriffs. You could make use of the stormcasts in this one.
Oh, in what sense do you make use of the demigriffs then? What is this Is it Wings of Fire? No, it isn't. What is it? There's one way.
So
you can
yeah, the spell's very powerful. Allows you to get a unit to fly.
So you're adding 1 to run and charge rolls for the unit at the start of your next hero phase. In addition, until the next hero phase, that unit can fly. Yeah, that's pretty mental. So you're
Opens
looking
up
at
a lot of mobility for those demigriffs.
flying demigriffs.
It's like not the hippogriffs, the stormcast variants.
And
They
what-
essentially become better versions. of
And
them.
you could make so stormcast. You could get evocators in. They get a big block of them, and they could get flying into combat.
I mean,
Flying, piling over screens and stuff like that.
yeah, fly's one of those things that you kind of underestimate, but it just gives you that direct
It's
mobility,
so
doesn't it?
helpful in a meta run by endless spells that can just block off like mobility, because all it takes is one like Geminids to block your whole unit
True.
getting through.
You've
Or
got to
a
move
Keeper.
around it. Yeah.
Fly is such a handy thing to have.
Or even a shield unit. The fact you can just jump straight over a shield unit.
Definitely.
You know, I think it's that's pretty stinky.
And with the evocators, you could make really good use of the command ability by fighting twice. So you could do their mortal wounds twice
Ouch.
in the same round. It is that you can play against it, I think, because it has to be wholly within the enemy territory. So some scenarios it won't be that powerful, but in some scenarios where it's split in half, that'd be a very, very powerful command ability, depending on the list.
Yeah, true. Anything else stick out? Should we have a? I mean,
The command trait, the first one. You can make a prodigy. That stuck out to me.
So this is add 1 to the attack characteristics of the general's melee weapons. In addition to the start of the battle, you receive 1 extra command point.
Yeah, so you're getting an extra command point. Help out. You can double tap a few units if they're in range.
And if you've got a pretty tough general,
Like a griffin.
yeah, like a griffin or something like that, because you're adding 1 across all of the melee attacks, which
It's pretty handy with the Death Beak as well.
That
the
can
lance and the
exactly that adds
hammer.
up.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And obviously over there, the Stormcast unit, you could really do that kind of. You can do the same kind of thing. So I think this is very combat orientated city.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, you could have your general being a Stormcast, couldn't you? It just says 1 in every 4 can be from a Stormcast, so you could have a Star Drake, couldn't you?
I'm not sure.
King's the
I
keyword,
guess
so
so,
why
yeah.
not? Yeah.
And there's a lot of cheap units in the book, so you could really make that 1 in every 4 units is not hard.
No.
You could really get the Stormcast going in this book.
I think
if
for
that's
me
what you're after.
that's quite an exciting premise because from any of the gaming scene, you tend not to see too much Stormcast.
I have
I
rarely
mean,
seen them.
So the idea of putting them in a cities faction, I think we're going to see more Stormcast now because you're able to add a lot of. There's so much choice, isn't there, in the rest of the cities book that you're going to take 25% of your army, which is Stormcast. And then build around all the weaknesses of what some of those hard elite units have. I think it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that.
You could prime as well. So prime comes down. You could pop that command ability. Attack twice in the enemy to make some good use of the prime.
Ouch. So the prime comes down and then you tag him twice.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's lots of
synergies with overlocks.
And you could do. We'll go through the scrolls at the end, which we think would fit in all these cities. But you could do blocks of units and or go MSU style with this list.
Yeah, let's push on to another city because I'm conscious of time.
John's saying battalion.
Hold on a second there. Let's go back through the chat. In fact, actually, you start talking about the next city. I'll just double check on the questions.
Get some of them battalions.
Q&A. So we've got. What have we got in here? Living city, please. Cities of Sigmar without warrior priests. What's your favourite city painting scheme wise? Endless spell buff is huge, says John Dale. Not to mention that dispossessed will water down like some weakling manling beer. We're getting into dwarf talk. Just spam hammers and gyros.
I think this dispossessed didn't get watered down. I think they got gone up for me. Especially for the Ironbreakers.
I maybe meant before, but yeah. If you can make a demigriff fly, won't it become a regular griff? It's a good point.
Yeah.
Not so demi.
Could convert some wings on them demigriffs.
And then a few people saying welcome back. Right, what have we got here? Living City. Let's pick this up.
So this is the one I picked out as what I like the most.
So this is what we're going to be seeing the next Luke list, yeah? Is it about Living City?
I don't know, maybe.
All right, tell me what you like about it.
Well, this one, so you can get the same kind of thing with Stormcast. You get Sylvaneth in.
Right.
So and they can benefit from these traits.
So what 1 in 4 units can be Sylvaneth or
yeah. So the Living City army can include Sylvaneth units, and 1 in every 4 in the army can be Sylvaneth.
Is this why you were trying to get me to sell my Sylvaneth to you?
No, I'll just take your Sylvaneth. I don't need to sell it to you.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, what's the command ability look like for this? You must be picking this out for some reason. If you do so, pick 1 Living City unit that shot that phase more than 9 inch from enemy units, wholly within 18 inch of a friendly hero. The unit can make a normal move. It cannot run. The unit cannot benefit from this command ability more than once. So this is a move after shoot. That's interesting.
Yeah, so like with that one, you could get a bridge, send a unit through, and the hero is close by, and then shoot, and then go behind the bridge.
Just pull back, yeah.
So you can kind of use this bridge as a safety net, if just in case your shooting didn't work out.
Nice, yeah.
Or as we'll go through the scrolls, there's a very good screening unit, or there's a few good screening units in the army, and they're like the Scourge chariots. They got big bases. So you could literally have a unit of 3 of these Scourge Chariots. They can move up 12. They can do the shooting, and then they could be pulled back, and they screen a lot of the board off. So that command ability is, I think, really
Is this
powerful
why?
to
Is
use
this why
around.
you made me buy the last Scourge Chariot from Warhammer World today? Yeah. Well, okay, what else is going off in the Living City? What's caught your eye? I mean, I've got to say this one: the command trait, which is add 1 to save rolls for to your general. I always like a +1 save. I mean, it's I'm happy with that. But what else have you seen?
Well, there's the one, isn't it? There's the one. If I'm reading it right now, you get the whole lore, all the spells from the Lord of the Leaves, and the Lord of the Leaves is
Oh, wow.
really, really strong. I think there's a D6 heal in there, and then there's so Life Surge has a casting value of 6, and if successfully cast, pick one friendly model within 18 inches of the cast, so that is visible to them. You can heal them up to D6.
D6 heals are huge.
So
You don't see D6 heal that often, do you? And D3, yeah, but D6, that's
as we
pretty cool.
we'll go through a list that I've written. I've got 4 Luminarchs in this list.
It's
So you can
literally
pull
just
them
about
forward,
killer.
pull them back.
Right.
And they're wizards, obviously. You can pick the Law of the Leaves, you can heal yourself. And then there's the Iron Skin, so that has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick one friendly unit wholly within 18 inches as a caster. Subtract 1 from rune rolls for attacks that target that unit until you start your next hero phase. It's just, there's a lot of healing and trying to keep your army alive. But because so if you go really, this is like a shoot. So Hammerhall was all about the combat.
Yeah.
I'd say this is all about the shooting
Shooting and
maneuvering and
surviving.
surviving and playing. You could really play the objective games.
Which
with
and
this one.
that's the thing is with the objective games is sometimes the army that can survive, that's enough. You don't need to destroy the opponent, do you? You're shooting off and you're removing them, but if you can just get onto the objectives and survive, that's pretty strong in an objective game.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen with things like Fire Slayers, the half guard, the indestructible half guard units, and all the rest. But we're talking about survivability with mobility as well, because there's some pretty damn fast Sylvaneth
fast.
units.
Very fast.
Actually thinking about this, are you going to get the Wildwood? You're not going to get the Wildwood.
That's
with
only
this, are you?
allegiance ability for
For
Sylvaneth.
Sylvaneth, so you'll lose the Wildwood,
But
but
you'd gain access to everything there on that city.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting.
There's a lot of useful units in the Sylvaneth book you can
Yeah.
make use of. And this where I was saying the command ability where you could just pull back. You could also pull forward.
True.
So the chariots, like I was saying, on 120mm bases, you could
Yeah.
literally move them forward, shoot
Shoot,
them,
move
pull them
them.
forward again. So you can really
Yeah.
screen off. So if you're a shooting army, slowing their army down.
Yeah, and this is a command ability, so you can spin off a few of those if you needed to.
If
yeah?
you've got the command points, yeah.
If you've got the command
buy a
points.
command point and
Yeah,
yeah, you're good to go.
nice. That's quite.
But you can't do it to the same unit.
No, not
So
to
you
the
could
same
get- so
unit.
you
but
could probably block if they give you the first turn because they want to double you. You could probably screen the whole army off.
Yeah.
So then you've got a good 2 rounds of shooting against it. You could probably table someone in a few turns if you roll
If
well
you
enough.
roll, yeah, roll well. Yeah. Cool.
So that's that on that one with the Living City. Unless anybody wants to know anything else about it.
Let's have a quick catch up. Hello, and Demon Lizard from Outer Space, and greetings from Germany. What have we got? Actually, I'm going to have to jump back up a little bit. Has anybody seen the Dispossessed Longbeard War Scroll? Someone pointed out on Reddit that they can grumble and moan an endless spell away. Well, we'll check that out.
You can do that now if you
Yeah,
want.
do that now. Why not?
Wants to know that
I'm
now?
going to tag that on the chat while we're there.
There's a lot of war scrolls in this
There's a
book.
lot of scrolls. So this is Longbeards, yeah?
What does he want
Is
to know?
that right? Longbeard War Scroll. Somehow grumble an endless spell away.
Yeah, so a unit with this complaint can attempt to dispel one endless spell in your hero phase.
I have a formal complaint about your endless spell, Mr.
So they
Nagash.
just grumble about it and it dispels the endless spell.
I hate this spell.
What the Living City colour scheme, if they have one, please? Well, we'll jump to the fluff section as well while we're doing that.
I'm not sure. Do they have what colour scheme? I don't really look at
yeah,
that kind of thing.
you
I'm not
don't look at the-
really the
you-
fluffy kind of
you're not
gamer.
You're not a front of the book kind of guy, are you?
I'd imagine something leafy.
Yeah.
Should we do that? Should we do all that kind of stuff at the end?
We
Keep
can
going
do that
through
at
the
the end. We'll
cities?
come back to the stuff at the end.
Just another thing on the living. On the living city.
So Demon Lizard from Outer Space says, my Wanderers are excited to try out new things with Living City Allegiance. You can have a lot of fun, trust me. Hey people, I've got 35 Glaive Guard Wood Elf Archers, unbuilt, even with them in Age of Sigmar Mark's boss. GW discontinued them. Are my only options to convert them to Dark Elf Sisters or Watch? So is that right? The Glade Guard have gone?
Well, I think a lot of units have gone, but the beauty of this book is the conversion. You could go crazy.
So pick a
You
unit
could
from the book and just
do
play.
a couple of head swaps or whatever, and you're good to go.
Yeah, counts as. I mean, they're still great models, so you could just pick any of the range units and do a counts as.
Because it's like you could do a full Wood Elf army, really. You go and pick a city and just convert it all as Wood Elves.
Well, if you went the living city, for instance, is
just say they're
prime
Sisters
for
of
Wood Elves.
Watch or something
exactly,
like that.
Sisters of the Watch, whatever you want to do, and
they're very good now. Sisters of Watch
they're
and Shadow
solid
Warriors.
units.
Shadow Warriors
Shadow
are very,
Warriors.
very strong now.
Yeah.
Like
In fact, Dave Dog says Shadow Warriors ? We will be coming on to Shadow Warriors, no
They're
doubt.
like the supercharged heart renders.
Now I'm even more saddened that my Dowie looks at discontinued organ gun cannon. Oh dear. 12 and he says, hey guys, I'm planning a trip to Warhammer World Sunday, October 20th. Hope you're available. That's the weekend after the tournament, isn't it? You know what? If I can't get there, Jack probably could get to see you, so I'll let him know you're going to be in town. Still available for mercenary companies for now. You know what? Let's jump on to the next city, and I will catch up with the chat. And you start talking through.
I'm going to let Liam
Greywater.
take over on this one. You've written a list on this one, haven't you?
So this city, Greywater, is all your like mecha stuff. So your steam tanks, your firing gun lines, stuff like that. And then like the Life City and the Stormcast vaults and the previous cities, this one can do it with Caradrons, I believe. I believe so.
Let's have a look.
Greywater Fastness must be from Gyron. Iron World Arsenal War Machine. And I'm not picking up a Caradron, but
No, I didn't.
Oh, it must be a later one.
Okay.
But this one's still pretty good for shooting anyway. So it's like the other ones. You get an extra command point with the first one. You can re-roll the hit rolls of ones for attacks made by missile weapons with the fastness of the actual Greywater heroes. So it's generally just a really good army for like buffing those shooting units. So you've got a nice spell over here that can help keep stuff alive within 18 inches of your heroes. Subtract 1 from hit rolls that attacks made for that unit to start the next hero phase. So you basically make an aura that's really good at like subtracting from him.
This one you wanted to put a lot of flagellants in and have your steam tanks behind shooting.
No, this one was the one where it's just utter gun line.
Oh, right, okay.
Coleman's saying it's the Tempest Eye that can take the Caradrons as units, which is pretty cool.
But this one's just really nice because all you have is steam tanks and you get all the bonuses for hitting, and then you've got the subtract from ones to hit on the steam tanks against other shooting armies, because steam tanks, they're really powerful on paper, but as soon as they start taking wounds, because they haven't got that many wounds in comparison to bigger stuff, so that -1 to hit is going to be quite key. And it's an 18-inch bubble. And then like, you'd probably have 3 steam tanks, all of them would be in range, and then you would have screen units in front of them to keep them safe. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you've got the artifacts up here. Pick one of the bearer's missile weapons, add 1 to the damage characteristic of the weapon. So you just have general, like the cogsmith.
Yeah.
You give him that, add 1 to the shooting weapon. I'm not sure if you can get a hero in Steam Tank anymore, can you? I don't think you could start with.
It's a commander, isn't there? Steam Tank Commander, I think, now.
Yeah.
And then, so you can do a Steam Tank army if you wanted to.
You could do that on one of his weapons, then.
The idea of Steam Tanks
That's a bit
as
too
battle
themed
line.
for me, but...
Steam Tanks as battle line is
It's
just
just-
hilarious.
Li-
I just think it's brilliant.
It's just the whole... like, you don't need anything else. It's just Steam Tanks. You just drive up, like...
I mean, it'd probably get absolutely hammered, but
yeah,
it'd be
it's-
hilarious. wouldn't
It's
it?
not
still
competitive ever, but it's just a load of tanks. Just go...
funny. Yeah,
Oh, no.
that's cool. It'd look great. Luke doesn't get that at all, though. Of course, he's got to play
he's
great. hasn't
competitive.
I've not really looked over this one. I just skim read the ones that don't look that great for me.
It's interesting, and it's the fact that it works well with the battle line steam tanks. I
Okay.
mean, there's some other cities that make better use of the steam tanks, but this one makes a very characterful steam tank army for me personally. But yeah, I think that's about it from what I was saying on this city.
it? Coleman's complaining about steam tanks. He says they're rubbish now.
Right, we'll get to the next one.
This one's all
Well,
about the Phoenix Guard.
I think we can cover one more, so we need to choose which one we're going to cover because I think we've got time to cover one more.
The
and then we
endless
need to cover
spell
three
one, then.
units
The
yeah?
endless spell, that's it.
So this is Hallowheart, yeah?
Hallowheart.
So we're going to jump into the Hallowheart one because I think we need to be. We're 25 minutes into the show. I want half of the show maybe looking at a few war scrolls. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Talking about some possible lists which we've chewed over. So it makes sense to kind of jump to this Hallowheart, yeah. Go for it, Luke, because I need to just have a little cough to one side. Excuse me. Sorry, carry on.
So this one, so we've gone through the combat one, and we've gone through which I think was probably the best shooting one, the Living City, and then now we'll go through the hero phase, the magic one. And this one is this where you can empower all the endless spells,
Right, okay.
and you get a lot of casts, a lot of extra casts. You can get one cast wizards turn into two cast wizards.
You get bonuses to unbind with certain
But there's
things.
some crazy stuff, isn't there? I
It's-
mean, you know, a Hallowheart unit that is affected by a spell or endless spell can roll a dice, and if you do so on a 5+, ignore the effects of the spell or endless spell.
Just all across
on
the
that
army.
unit. A 5+ ignore of all magic.
Yeah.
Across the whole army.
I mean, that's Hand of Dust. That's anything. That's like a third of everybody. You know, a third of magic just getting shut down. You know, of your opponent.
Yeah, it's good. It's not you can't rely on it.
It's
No, you
I
can't
think
rely
it's
on it.
good. A lot of people don't really have the hero phase as much as this list will.
True.
So,
true.
but it's nice. It's a nice bonus. But you can get a lot of bonuses to cast, and you can just really spam the endless spells in this list.
Yeah.
Like you put a spell portal in, put it anywhere on the board because it's empowered. The bridge suddenly is moving 24 inches. So you can go crazy with Sisters of Watch. Just put them anywhere on the board. Shoot anything.
So every endless spell when it's cast
It's on its highest ability.
counts as empowered, and you can use that highest ability.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
It's brilliant. That's what it is. We're living in the future now.
And there's no limit on the amount of endless spells you can take. As we, you know, I don't. Yeah. So you
No.
So you could make
So
a-
you could put
Just
400
go
or 500
full
points into endless if you wanted to, and play the endless phase. You get. I think it requires a lot of playing.
Yeah.
You have to do a lot of practice because it can really slow.
Yeah, because you've got that alternating activation. You've got to be aware that when they're on the table.
It's
they'll
not just it's
alternate.
casting the right spells at the right time.
Exactly, dispelling the right spells at the right time. Because you've got to pull them off sometimes and redeploy. You know.
And you can block. Well, you block people off with them.
Yeah.
Wrap units, stop people getting to objectives, do a lot of damage.
It's interesting.
So that one's definitely an interesting one to look at if you're after that kind of thing.
The basic spells for this city is really nice. And unlike the other ones, I think there's one city that's got 6 spells. But this is the main one that's got 6 spells. All the other ones have got 3 spells, you'll notice.
So the law of white fire.
It's definitely interesting spells. The one that stuck out to me the most
Should we go
is
through them all, the spells?
Crystal Aegis.
Yeah, it can do. We've got, I'd say let's work through the spells then, seeing as though we're here, and then we'll pick up on a few units. Yeah.
So you've got Roaming Wildfire. It's 6 to cast, and pick one enemy unit within 18 inches of the caster is visible to them. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Then roll a dice for each other enemy unit within 6 inches of that unit. On a 4+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So I think this maybe not so powerful now, but I think as people cling on to the idea of MSU, because I think that will start becoming a thing. It's a very, very powerful
Somebody
way
set
of
the trend
playing.
in that.
And that will do a serious damage to MSU armies, especially
Yeah.
through spell portal. You could put that anywhere on the board.
Pretty filthy.
And then Sear Wounds is a caster value of 6. Pick one friendly unit within 18 inches of the caster. It's visible to them. You can heal up to D6 wounds.
D6 wounds, flat out.
On a 6. But all these spells, because you get so much bonuses to cast, you're pretty much, it's just
Guaranteed.
auto cast.
Yeah.
So you're getting them endless on. You're dispelling them endless. So you do it right. You've got to make sure it's all in the right order. You play it right.
But like you said,
Very
this is
powerful.
also playing quickly because it's all going to be taking place in the hero phase.
Yeah, so if you're going to do this kind of list and you're going to go to a tournament, I'd suggest having all your spells written down, maybe working out matchups and knowing how you're going to, what order you're going to cast your spells in.
Yeah.
Have a tick sheet for each wizard so they know which ones cast what.
Yeah,
Just to help you really
you
speed
gotta
up the
keep
game.
a tally of it because you're pumping a lot out in one
If
turn.
you go for
Yeah.
the competitive side of things.
Wow. Okay, just on the chat there, we've got Daniel Bradshaw shouting, Luke! Hey, Dan.
In the bin.
In the bin. Anything in the bin for you? Okay, come on, moving on. Shall we?
Should finish them
keep
up.
going, yeah,
The
finish 'em up.
Cyclone, so that's a value, cast value of 6. If successfully cast, pick one enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Roll 1 dice for each model from that unit that is within 12 inches of the caster. For each 4 inch, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Nonsense.
That's handy.
So that's a very good nuking spell.
Crystal Aegis is a casting value of 5 if successfully cast. Until the start of your next hero phase, add 1 to rolls for Eldritch Attunement Battle Trait. See opposite. And that's for Hallowheart units only within 12 inches of the caster. So the Eldritch Attunement, as we said, is a 5 up ignore. So that pumps you up to a 4 up ignore to any unit wholly within 12 inches of the caster. It's wholly within. But
You got to cast a lot, but sometimes you might just need to do that castle, and
Yeah.
you might be playing the mirror,
True.
and then you'll need to get that up maybe.
Yeah.
Depends.
And ignite weapons. So this is a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick 1 friendly unit wholly within 18 inch. Visible to them. Interesting, we got visible in there. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by that unit until the next start of your hero phase. So this is for attacks, yeah? Okay. So it's melee attacks and shooting attacks. That's cute.
It's pretty handy and stuff that shoots.
Yeah, so you could put a bit
Well,
of shooting in this
It's
list.
flexible, isn't it? That's the thing, is because you can put that on the shooting. You know, a lot of the times when you get powers like that, sometimes it's limited to melee, sometimes it's limited to shooting.
It's very
but
one-sided.
whereas
way it
that's
goes.
kind of a universe. That's a nice universal spell. You can, stick it on a really heavy shooting unit and make a mess of somebody with that, couldn't you? At a distance. It's
Steam
cool.
tanks.
All right.
Bows.
Let's double check the chat before we move on. No questions at the moment. Coleman grumbling about commanders on steam tanks.
He's just jealous he can't get a dwarf on steam cannon.
That's his upset, and he'll be happy anyway. I'm sure he will. He'll
He's
make a
gonna
nice
convert a little
dispossessed list.
cogsmith on the back of a steam tank.
Coleman's not happy if any of his models are above 4 foot high. Basically, that's it. There's a limit. There's like
You're not a dwarf. You're a midget.
You know, like when you go to those rides at a fair.
You can't be above this.
You
certain
can't be
height.
above this to be
He's
in
like,
my army.
hey, I want to be below that.
It's only short stuff. Right. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Let's have a look at some.
Few scrolls.
Yeah.
But should we do like efficient scrolls for the points and
Come
just
on, then.
bin off all the other ones?
So we're
that
binning.
maybe-
We're binning everything.
They might be good
So this
in
is-
certain scenarios.
So this is Luke's
but-
list of stuff to watch. Yeah? This is what you're going to see. Come on then.
Tip list.
We just scroll through it.
So you're just binning. There goes the
Griffin in the bin.
in the bin.
There you go.
Free-Goal General. Well, let's go. I'm not sure. I'm not looked at his points. Let's have a quick look. Let's get the points page up as well. Hopefully they're in order as well. No, they're not.
Oh, not at all.
Not
Luke.
prepared.
Not prepared, Luke. Come on, stick with what you know.
Yeah, all right. Yes, in the bin. And then Demigriffs. They're 180 now.
Demigriffs 180. Jack's favourite free guild unit before the book came out. He's got 4 units of 3 Demigriffs. What are they like now?
So they are a lot better now. So they like, but obviously you've got to look at this. These scrolls are good by their own, but they're even better, obviously, with all the cities and combos that you can do.
Yeah.
So, like we said, flying demis or double tapping demis, and getting all them bonuses, +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
Yeah, well, that's I mean,
We just could take that into account as we're going through.
yeah,
While
you
we're
know,
picking these scrolls.
I mean, that's the thing pretty much for most of the battle tomes that are coming out now. You can't kind of take the scroll in isolation, can you? You have to kind of look at what happens if I sit that inside Hammerhall, what happens if I sit that inside, the Living City, etc., isn't it? It can open it up.
Should we go through stats?
Yeah, do that. Go for it.
So, Demigryphs, they got 4 wounds, movement 10, 3 up save, bravery 6. And they've got a good range, 2-inch range, 3 attacks each. They're 3s and 3s, -1, 1 damage. I think you'd always go with the lance.
I think
The halberd, sorry.
The thing is for me, 2-inch range, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, and you can throw in a -1 rend there if you've got the halberd, but you're saying you'd take the lance always. We'll come back to that, but that's a pretty solid, reliable unit, isn't it? Running around with 4 wounds each as well.
Yeah. Not the lance, so you go with the halberd. It's just
Oh, you go the halberd.
force to wound.
Yeah.
There's just as a massive difference.
True.
In that. And then obviously you've always got the rend, so if you get charged, you've still got the rend back.
Yeah, and that's the thing isn't it? Because when you've got those charge units, that have that bonus on the charge, it's nice, but at the same time, sometimes it limits what you're trying to do with them. You're kind of holding them back because you want that charge. Whereas this is a more rounded unit. You don't mind if it receives the charge because it's still gaining the rend from the halberd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the beaks and talons. There's no 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 1 damage. So solid. And they're doing mortals now on a 6.
That's pretty nice.
On a 6, is it to wound? Attack with the beaks, talon turn 6. That attack inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition to any normal damage.
So every wound roll of a 6 is inflicting 1 mortal wound coming out of the beak, is that right?
Yeah, and that's addition.
Yeah, and we're getting, 1 attack? No, 3 attacks with a beak. Ouch.
So they come in 3s, so that's 4, 8, 12 wounds. And they're 180 points. They're very efficient.
That's nice. Okay.
Nice bit of damage for 180
So
points.
you probably see them spammed.
Jack's got 12 of them. Is that enough?
Probably not.
No. How many would...
50.
How many is enough? 24?
24 maybe.
24,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not really written a list with them in.
Nice. Go on then. What else have we got?
So we'll go through them. We've got the Outriders and Pistoliers. They're okay for the points.
Yeah.
They're about 100 points now.
And again, these are fast moving, relatively cheap,
securing.
just objective grabbing.
Yeah, the main aim of the game is to get them objectives, and that's how you win. So you want to get that kind of efficient, fast-moving units.
Yeah, but that's the kind of role that people were playing them in Free Gold already. But they haven't got terrible. They're still 2 wounds each.
2 wounds
You
each,
take a
and they're
unit of
100
5,
points.
it's 10 wounds running around.
So they're not bad.
100 points. You can live with that, can't you? Yeah.
The handgunners, they are good. Now, I've not really looked into making a build with the handgunners, but you can definitely. You had a build with them before. You definitely still got a build with them now.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. Sit at the back, have something.
Well, it has changed. They got a lot better now with all the cities.
Well, I've got the once per turn enemy unit ends its charge move within 3 inches of the units, and there are no other enemy units within 3 inches of the units. This unit can shoot. I've always liked that it's solid that it can shoot when it receives a charge. It's
Even
really
without
nice.
this battle tome, I've been scared of that rule from the old.
And exactly, it was in there, wasn't it? And I think you could even have accompanying units fire
I
with
was
that,
just
couldn't you?
terrified of charging that.
Yeah.
Because it's the whole unit like Overwatch.
I know when Jack played the Gunners, he did some really interesting stuff where he had multiple units. And it became very hard to kind of charge one of those units without dragging the second unit in. So you ended up kind of really narrowing your charge down to avoid getting shot at. But then you lose out on piling, you're kind of struggling. So look, you can have a lot of fun
There's
with
ways around it. I mean, if you got to be careful with the handgunners. You kind of want to isolate their units because you put any screens near them, you can kind of charge the screens, then pile into them.
Exactly.
And then
you've got to leave that gap, haven't you? You
Yeah.
can't. Yeah. Okay. What else? What else we got?
I mean, crossbowmen, they're still solid for the points. So, and for even all these units still pretty solid. I've not really looked into making a build with them, but they're efficient for the points. You could probably make them work in the cities if you like the models or you've got good conversion ideas in your head for. You could definitely take these units.
Flagellants stick out of me with that spell city because you do the firing ward, the one that if you suffer a wound on a 4, it'd be doing mortal wound back. Flagellant essentially turn into the exploding plague monks at that point. Not bad with 2 attacks each either.
Okay.
Oh, each time they flee as well, they do mortal wounds. And onto the attacks.
Yeah, and a 4-up. Each time a model from this unit flees, you can pick one enemy unit within 6 inch. Roll the dice, and on a 4-up, so 50% of the time it's dishing out mortal wounds when they
And
run.
that as well. Combine that with the bridge, you literally just get a big old block of Flagellant, throw them at the enemy, and just hopefully they die and just explode.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's how I've been using, you know, the magma drops. It's really interesting. You can kind of throw those in. You know, I know in the competitive scene you don't see magma drops as much because, you know, everybody pumps the points into half guard. But it is quite interesting when you run like 4 magma drops, you're guaranteed to dish out, you know, 7 mortal wounds off each one of those magma drops, just splashing back at whoever attacks them. And you can actually use it to finish a unit off. It's interesting and similar mechanic.
It's different though. Well, obviously this one, if you wipe the unit, it's not doing that.
True.
So you know if it's a big block, you want to go in and wipe it. If you can't go in and wipe it, you maybe not a good idea to go in yet.
Yeah, because it's on flee rather than wound. Yeah. So. Okay, what else we got?
Or slowly grind them away because it's still pretty high bravery.
Yeah.
Chip away at them. Battle mages, very, very, very strong for the points, especially if you're putting them in the Hallowheart battalion. They're 90 points now, and you can get a 2-cast wizard for that. It's very, very
90
strong.
Points. Well, the same as like Beast Lords and they're cheaper.
Let me just make sure I'm not just making this up.
That's crazy.
You get a whole box of them for like 25 quid of like 5 different wizards from the different.
And they're really nice models. They're really nice models
for their age.
Yeah.
You can get one of them back on.
Yeah, Battle Mage is 90 points now.
Battle Mage 90 points.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much get another great thing in the book is a lot of stuff is battle line. As long as you've got the right general, you can really take advantage of that. Especially if you're gonna go for, we'll find out in a minute. So we got the Luminarch of which is what I well, not me personally. A friend of mine, Darren's picked them out and seen a potential.
First and foremost, from my perspective, a great model. I really like the model.
It's really nice.
It looks really funky with all the little mirrors, magnifying glasses lined up. I mean, it's pretty cool. But what's so great about it?
It's just, if you got a lot of them, you can cover the board. Cover the board in that one where you can heal them. So if you don't wipe them, you can heal them back up to the most effective.
So 11 wounds. The D6 on an 11 wound model could be pretty.
It could be. It's big, yeah. I mean, it starts getting weak quite quick. So
of course,
you can literally get it back up to its 2+ beam. It's a 30-inch beam. Get your nice little laser pen out. You might have one back in the fantasy days. Get that laser pen back out. And start beaming people off. It does D3 mortal wounds every time it goes over a unit.
That's filthy.
So combine that with all the other shooting and everything that you can do.
That's better than a bunch of endless spells. Just a whole row of those.
Yeah, they're good.
You can't make them battle line though, sure.
There you go. So the 210 without a wizard and 270 with a wizard.
Right. Okay.
I think you go a couple with wizards just to get you them leaders for them scenarios where you need heroes, and then a couple of them without wizards.
Nice. Oh my god.
Really cool cat.
We've got a couple of people. Let's just catch up with the chat for a quick second. Question. When will there be bat reps with Cities of Sigmar Battletome? Well, yeah, we could probably rustle something together actually, because we'll have to go through Jack's list because he's got a cities army and he's working on, I think he's got about 30 dispossessed he's adding to it. There's a bit of a shield wall, so but yeah, we could probably try and get something done. I don't know, maybe in about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe. I think after the tournament's out of the way, because that's the main focus. In 2 weeks we've got a tournament. Demigryphs are good to right. This is a smart move from the GW. Old players are going to say, hey, my units are legit and they have their own Battletome. I can get into this game. But hey, some units have been discontinued. Yeah, well, I think that's right. There's some cool old armies down there. You know, I noticed on display in Warhammer World is Peach's Cities of Sigmar army.
It's a really nice,
beautiful, isn't it? I wonder if some of those have been around before Age of Sigmar, but they look fantastic.
I think Coleman's saying the Luminarch's got nerf. It's just they were a lot more expensive before. You just get a lot more efficiency out of them now.
Darren Watson says he can only dip in for a bit. He can't wait to get his hands on the tome. Luminarchs are bonkers. They are, man. How many?
He's the main man, Baron. He's the one
the main
pointed
man.
that out to me.
That's all we're
when
going
he
to see,
saw
then,
it.
isn't it? Yeah.
10 Luminarchs.
It's out on Saturday. Yes, it is out on Saturday. Pinpoint mortals. Yeah, exactly. Just mortal wounds there.
I just think they're very powerful with the right play. You can't just get Luminarchs and start smashing people.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
You
really.
could almost have a Luminarch at each.
It's powerful in the
different-
movement phase and.
Luminarch
True.
at 4 different points of the board, and then you aim all of them at one character, but then you've got every point of the board that they're all aiming at the character from, and it hits every other unit.
It'd be pretty. Yes, it's cool.
It's a barrage.
And the model's fantastic as well. I really love the model.
Yeah, some
but
good
anyway.
conversions
Yeah, yeah.
ideas in there as well. So
Yeah. You could put one on the back of a turtle. That'd be cool.
Oh, actually, that's a good idea.
Glad to see the old armies are included. I have a few boxes of them, says Al Kirkham. Coleman reckons the Luminarch got nerfed.
That's,
Coleman. Oh, Coleman.
you need to throw a dwarf on there and he'd be happy.
Right,
And
okay.
then the Hurricanum, that's it's still good. I think it's still expensive. It's still
It's
Still
there's
solid.
Points.
It's solid, it definitely is. You know what it is also? It's not the model to drop from 6 foot in the air.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's really not.
I think we've got the aftermath of that
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the shelf behind
It's
it.
in more pieces than it originally started off as on the sprue. That's the painful bit about that.
Oh god.
I think the only issue you have with the Hurricanum is it really forces you to be castling up. You don't really want to be that. You don't really want to castle up in your armies.
Yeah,
really.
reduces
for
down.
competitive play anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's still very solid.
True. Okay.
I'm not really looked into these units yet.
What else have we got?
So we got the Black Dragon.
Looking at
Sorceress,
time. Yeah, looking
should
at
we just skip
time.
through these?
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
not
say
really
skip
looked at.
unless you really want to pick up on.
I mean, Dark Shards, they're very effective for the points. Let's go through.
I'm pleased to hear that. Actually, let's just have a quick look at Dark Shards because, as you know, I've
Spears as well.
made a bunch of Dark Shards
From
using
my spare bits.
spare bits from Ideneth Deepkin to go with my Ideneth army. But you know, so if the unit's any good, I'm keen to know. But are you saying it's only going to be good in the context of a city? That's the question, isn't it?
Well, they're just
What are they
effective
like?
for the points. Let's just get their points up now. So Dark.
A lot of war scrolls.
Yeah, Dark
Dark
Shards. So
Shards.
they're 100 points for 10.
100 points for 10.
Not
That's
bad.
not bad.
And then you got Dark. Then you got Dread Spears, and then they're 90 points for 10, 320.
So what are we
40.
looking at with the Dark Shards then? 2 attacks, range 16 inch. It's not huge. 4s and
But
4s.
just got to remember about the bridge. So you're going to put bridge in the army. That range is
okay.
just
You
crazy.
just use that, yeah.
And then you can obviously buff your hit and your wound rolls, pump out them shots.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Cool.
I mean, I think the Sisters of the Watch will do it a lot better.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get to them. Dread Spears, just really good screens. 90 points for 10 dudes.
Nice.
That's it. The Iron Breakers I had a quick look at. They look pretty solid now. They got a free up save now.
Well, Jack's just bought 3 boxes of them, so I'm assuming that usually means something, doesn't it? But yeah, 3 up save is pretty cool.
I like the.
You can't
Mind
complain
Drakes.
as a 3+ save, can you?
No.
The
Yeah.
Iron Drakes look pretty funky.
So their weapons, 3s and 4s.
The Iron Drakes are 3s and 3s. -2 rend on the Grudge Hammer torpedoes.
They're solid. They're solid little
20
unit
inch
as well.
It's a nice little unit.
Yeah, that's cute.
I've not really looked at them yet, but the gyrocopters and the bombers, they're solid for the points. They're good flying around, jump on them objectives, block people off.
Surely Coleman's happy about that. We can only assume so. Let's just double check the chat while we're here as well. Dave says, here in Spain there are more takers of Age of Sigmar these days. It's superseding Kings of War, which is ahead at one point in popularity. We have an Age of Sigmar tournament at a large event here. That's cool. I mean, I'm definitely seeing Age of Sigmar ramp up. You know, you know, I know 40k is still strong and it's incredibly strong in some areas, but you're seeing Age of Sigmar. I think the tournaments are getting bigger, the scene's getting bigger, isn't it? And it's a great game to play.
Yeah. You want to get onto the tournament scene. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's the best I've ever seen it. To be fair.
Cool.
And there's a lot of you can play a lot of armies now, and you got a good chance of taking an event out. Put the practice in. Yeah, it's very good.
Yep. Okay. Well, Daniel Bradshaw says, especially with empowered spell portal. Oh, sorry. It's a mishmash battle time, and there is a combination which breaks the game and/or is overpowered. That's from Dave. So yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a lot of choice, isn't it?
I think you got a lot of choice. You could probably you can't break the game because there's too many battle tomes now, which are filth.
Breaking the game.
Yeah.
So when you've got that in the scene, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because like this will be good at beating some armies and lose against some armies, and you're going to get that with everything.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll break the game. It's just a very powerful book. So it's up there with the Skaven, it's up there with the Slaanesh and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
But
the thing.
they all neuter each other.
And
so.
you know, I think the tournament scene's testament to that, isn't it? Because you do see a cycling of the top armies each time, don't you? You kind of, Skaven's up there, Slaanesh is up there. You kind of see them moving around, don't you? But it's not the same faction every time winning every tournament, is it? You just don't really see that happening.
I think the reason why some armies win tournaments is not because how filthy an army is, it's the adaptability of the person that's playing it. Yes, you all know all your strengths and stuff, but as soon as you go against an army, say that neuters you, like Slaanesh, where it's an Alpha Strike army and you're a shooting army, you have to like almost divide and then conquer and shoot that army whilst it's like whittling down your other stuff. You've almost got to sacrifice unit, then shoot and wipe it out completely.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's what Luke is saying, isn't it? Is that every army is definitely going to come up against something that, preys on a weakness. Because there's just powerful lists in other factions, And
then it's down to the players then. I mean, you could have the worst army and still be the better list.
And at the tournament, when you're into the tournament games as well, as you only have to make one mistake and that's it.
Some players
doesn't matter how good the army
one
is.
mistake is game over.
Yeah. Okay. What else have we got going off in here? Anything else you want to pick up on, Luke?
Yeah, so the Frost Hearts and they're still strong. They're in the other city. We've not gone through that, so we'll not do it now.
Sure, no problem.
Definitely look at them. Assassin solid now as a general, if you can, because Shadow Warriors are amazing now.
Okay, tell us about Shadow Warriors as we get into the last 10 minutes of the show.
So there's a base.
Sorry.
The normal scroll, so the movement 6, 5 up save, bravery 6. They've got an 18-inch shot, which is 3s and 4s -1. You put them in cover, and it goes to 2s and 3s.
Ouch.
And they can teleport anywhere on the board 9 inches away. So they come in 10s, and they're 110 points.
That is.
They are mental for what they are. You just
so
put
cheap.
a lot of them in. I think they'll be in a lot of cities' armies, and there'll be a lot of them as well. At least 4 units in every city's army, or just 3. You could just go assassin, put the assassin inside the Shadow Warriors, keep the general alive, and then make these battle lines. So whether you've got the scenarios that require a battle line to capture, you can just put them on. Let the other army, let your rest of your army shoot it off or magic it off. Then the Shadow Warriors can go on the objectives, take them objectives, and they're still efficient. They're still doing damage. They're still doing work.
That's crazy.
Well, what's incredible as well is they're actually good-looking models.
They're really
nice. They are nice.
I was so tempted to pick them up today.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they played like. It's just the helmets are really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna make GW a lot of money. Those Shadow Warriors, that's for sure. 30 quid a box
For 10.
for 10. So
Yeah, I can live with that.
17 boxes. That's a decent list
Is that
with an
17?
assassin.
Yeah, that should do it, should it?
And then we'll go to the next unbelievable scroll for its points, which I think is the Scourge Runner Chariots.
Come on then, tell us about the Scourge Runner Chariots. I had to buy one of these emergency purchase.
So they're 60 points. The movement 12. They've got a 5 up save, 6 wounds. They've got an 18-inch shot, which is 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, D3 damage. But then, if they roll a 6 to hit, it's D3 mortals. And then, if you take them in singles, which you can in the city's army, they get +1 to hit if they're the Beastmaster. So you just make them Beastmaster in singles. So they're now 2s and 3s, -1, D3 damage.
So a single unit, every single unit becomes a Beastmaster, and they're all 2s and 3s.
Yeah, so you just spam them. They're on 120mm bases. You line them all up sideways, move them all forward,
So you mean I have to?
and
model
they're
these
just a
whipping
really
themselves?
efficient screen
Yeah.
that can do work, and they're blocking a lot of the board off to let the rest of
Because
your
it's a
army
pretty big
do it.
base. You know, what's the...
Yeah, so it's a flyer base. You play 40k, so it's a flying stand base.
That's-
It's
that's a
large.
big
That's
base.
the base.
Ouch.
That's just so cheap.
So
60 points.
they're mental good.
All right. Any other scroll to
They'll
look
be
at?
out. They'll be out of stock soon.
We're into the last 5 minutes of the show, so maybe...
So you could go Fleet Master with that, make them battle line, and you could spam them, or go Assassin and make Shadow Warriors battle line. But you can do that with obviously a lot of the units. But that's what stand out to me is the Shadow Warriors and the Scourge Chariot.
It's just
Chariots.
so cheap for what you're getting out of it. It's like you see all these like standard units, like it's got a 6-inch move, it's got 1 wound. It's all the other rules that go with it.
Okay.
And there's one more shout out of the Sisters of the Watch.
Yeah.
They're a solid scroll. So they're 18-inch range. They're 3s and 3s, but now they do mortal wounds on a 6 to wound.
Nice.
So you get big blocks of them pumping out the mortals.
1 attack each, yeah?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it an
okay.
unmodified wound?
Yeah, if the unmodified wound roll
You're seeing a lot of that these
is a
days.
6.
It's pretty nice though still.
Yeah, it's still good.
And
Just,
then
shots.
so the Chariots over 60 points, and the Sisters of the Watch they are. So they're 160 for 10.
Okay, well, we're into the last few minutes of the show. I want to check on the chat, see if there's anything. While I'm checking on the chat for questions, what's your gut feel on the list? You don't have to be accurate, like that definitely fits in 2,000 points, but have you been thinking about any possible builds?
Thought of a handful.
Well, I really would like to make use of Storm. It's not a good idea to go and spam because it will just get nerfed. So I like to just pick a lot of efficient units. I play the very MSU style, so I'll have a couple of units of Shadow Warriors, some Scourge Chariots as my screens, maybe some Sisters of Watch in there, efficient characters. And I'd like to use, because that's what I was saying about the Stormcast, is 1 in every 4.
Yeah.
So you could just go Fleet Master, loads of Scourge Chariots and Shadow Warriors, and that just gives you access. You could probably spend 1,000 points on that and just go 1,000 points into Stormcast. So if you want to go the Hammerhall way, you could get some Fulminators in there, Decimators in there, Evocator Bombs in there. You go Prime, double tapping Primes.
Nice.
The books has opened up. There's just so much in it. You could literally write
It's your
any list
play
really,
style.
and if you play the city well enough, you can use pretty much half of the scrolls in there. I would say are solid. Some of them counteract each other because for their points they're just doing the same thing but not as well.
Yeah, you get a lot of duplicate that's doing the same job.
You're
but
always
not
going to
quite
get
as
that
well.
with this amount of scrolls.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but the book just opens up so much.
I think one of the comments we had, which was John Dale says, wait till the FAQ comes out before buying any models, just in case. I think that leads to that, just caution around spamming just 1 unit. Don't go out and buy 40 chariots. You know what I mean? It's like...
unless you know that's been
Unless
out
you
for
know.
a while, and then you can spam 27 ills.
yeah, then you can just go crazy, yeah?
Although I didn't have 27 ills, it was 24 ills, and 3 of
24
them
ills.
were different ills. So.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of variance there. I get what you're saying, and I think I have to come back. WGO is also about the hobby side as well as the tournament side. The possibility of building a really nice looking army.
The conversion
20,
possibilities are
that
mental.
25% of the army being Stormcast, but then having all of these free people around them. It really brings to mind the kind of aesthetic that I imagine when I think about the cities of Age of Sigmar. You've got these Stormcast elites living amongst the human beings and the dwarves, and you know what I mean.
And they could be
the
picking
free
up bits
people
from
and-
them. So
Yeah,
they could
it's-
stick bits on the Stormcast that would fit
exactly.
with whatever city you've gone with.
You
The basins, you can do any kind of basin. It's just huge. I think the book's amazing. And
Yeah. And it really opens up to kind of like some quite inventive sort of hobby challenges, I think, in terms of colour schemes as well, and trying, you could have like the humans having kind of a subset of the colour schemes of the Stormcast, and yeah, it's just great fun.
And it's just you could pick this book up, and you could just play it for a good solid couple of years because you could just switch it up, not get bored. I mean, even adding them as allies, you're having Shadow Warriors allies, Scourge Chariots as allies.
Yeah.
There's loads of stuff in there. So, like with me, I'm gonna convert some Scourge Chariots and put them with my Deepkin, but I could convert it and make use of that.
See, I was thinking like Sisters of the Watch. I think quite, going through some of the sprues I've got, and whether I can kind of get those with my Deepkin or something like that. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or some of these, what were they called again? The Shadow. Help me out here.
Shadow Warriors.
Shadow Warriors.
I want to do an army.
They're pretty cool.
The Shadow Warriors.
People remember Kislev. I want
Yeah.
to do Demigryphs, but like green stuff. The Demigryphs as bears, and just
okay.
and then obviously use
Nice.
Luminarchs, Hurricanums, pulled by a bear. I mean, I think it's been done before,
Yeah, that doesn't matter,
but
does it?
it's just bringing them back
This
because
looks
I miss the Kislev.
You
Fair
can
enough.
use the
You
Rhinoxes.
can just bring so
couldn't you?
much back from fantasy if you've missed it in this book. You can. It's endless.
Wicked. Right, I think we're at 10 o'clock. My voice is almost gone anyway, so thank you very much for joining me. Ralph, it's good to see you from all the way from France.
Hi.
And he's kept out of this one because we weren't talking about Kill Team, so that's it. He was not going to play. Warcry. Okay, I think we're there. I don't like to spam 27 eels, as Daniel Bradshaw. Come on then. Right, we'll say goodnight to everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. And we'll see you again soon.
Yeah.
Cheers,
See you
guys.
later. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.